Hi, I'm Bob Humphrey with another tip, and today we're going to talk about ice fishing safety. Now, some of you folks from down south might think we're crazy, but up north, when winter settles in and the lakes freeze enough, it's time to head out on the ice for some hard water fishing. And there's a few things that you want to keep in mind if you're going to go out there onto lakes and ponds in the middle of winter and do this activity. Okay, this first tip might be a little counterintuitive, particularly to the open water fishermen who want to be first on the water. In the winter, you don't want to be the first one out there. Now, check around, check the internet sites, check with the local tackle shops, check with your state fish and wildlife agency. Find out that the ice is safe, that somebody else has been out there first before you venture out on the ice. Okay, tip number 2 is don't trust it. Even if there are people out there, even if everybody else says that it's safe, don't believe it. Test it for yourself. Go out to the edge, use a chisel, use an auger, use some sort of device. Cut down through. Make sure you've got enough ice before you go too far from shore. Okay, so how do you know if and when the ice is safe? Well, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources offers a few guidelines to help with that. 2 inches or less, stay off. Forget it. Don't even bother to go out there. 4 inches or more, you're okay for ice fishing and other activities on foot. If you want to take a machine, if you want to take a snowmobile, if you want to take an ATV, they suggest at least 5 inches. I'd say 6 to 8 is more of a safer, more comfortable guideline. 8 to 12, you're in the range where you could take a car, maybe a small truck out on the ice. If you choose to do so, myself, I keep the trucks on the bank, on the shore, and take the small machines out on the ice if and when it's safe to do so. You should also keep in mind that so-called white ice or snow ice is only about half as safe as pure, thick, clear ice. So double those guidelines that I've just given you in the event that you have that poor, that white, sometimes soft ice. Okay, number 3, and this may be the most important tip, is to bring along the proper safety equipment. Now, it may seem a little bit funny or a little bit silly to carry something like a life jacket or a personal flotation device, but if you go through the ice, it won't seem so funny. At the very least, maybe a floating cushion, a seat cushion from your boat, something that you can carry with you when you travel on the ice, or something that you could throw to somebody else if they go through. And another thing you might certainly want to consider is a good length of solid rope, so you could tie that seat cushion or that life jacket to the rope, throw it to a person when they go through, and pull them out. Another thing to consider is some sort of a handheld ice pick, a hand pick. And there are many commercially available, but you can certainly make them yourself. I've made them out of something as simple as a piece of closet pole and a nail. Just something that you have in your hands. If you should go through the ice, you can reach up, jab it into the ice and pull yourself up, because oftentimes that's the toughest part, is to get yourself out of the water and up onto the ice, particularly if there's nobody there or if there's nobody nearby. Some other things you might consider bringing along is maybe a blanket, a space blanket, certainly some sort of fire starting material. You want to get, if somebody goes through the ice, you want to get them off the ice and get them dry and safe and warm as quickly as possible. But if you can't do that right away, have something so that you can get them out of wet clothes and into something warm, start a fire, get some hot liquids into them, get them warmed up to avoid hypothermia. And then you should always have some sort of a first aid kit, because you're outside, you're active, and anything can happen. Cuts, abrasions, bruises, bumps, burns. You want to have what you need to handle the little things so that you can stay out and keep fishing. You don't have to end your day early just because you don't have the right simple first aid equipment on hand. If you do drive a snowmobile, ATV, or other machine out on the ice, you want to keep safety foremost at all times, okay? We talked about that personal flotation device, that life jacket. Wear it. Don't just have it in the vehicle. Put it on when you're traveling on the ice. Stay on trails. Follow somebody else's path. Don't be the first one out there. Stay away from the shoreline, except to get on and off the lake or pond, because that's especially where you're going to find those weak spots, those springs, those creeks, places where inlets and outlets that may create poor, soft ice, thin ice. Stay away from the edges. Out to the middle, wear your safety device, and last but not least, never ice fish alone. It's just not safe to begin with, and it's also not as much fun. A lot of the fun of ice fishing, especially ice fishing, is the camaraderie, because the action tends to be a little bit slower than open water fishing. the conditions are certainly more dangerous because you have the potential to go through the ice where it may be difficult to get out. So fish with somebody else, fish with a group, and follow the safety rules. You should be okay. Well, that about covers it for this time, but please check back again soon and often with you.